Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for a very special webinar on Valentine's Day. We're going to be covering organic and paid search better together. My name is Katherine Heisler. I'm the Director of Strategic Alliances at Conductor. We are joined by two very special guests, Ryan Pickerell, the VP of Content Marketing at Acronym, and Jonah Feld, the Director of Product Development at Acronym. Today we're going to be covering a few strategies and really the story of paid and organic search and how, although once they were separated, we can bring that data back and have some pretty excellent synergy between the two data sets. So on that note, I'm going to kick it off to Ryan and we will jump in.
Thanks, Kat. A little preface to the webinar before we jump in. Acronym is the largest global independent search agency, working with enterprise brands across paid and organic search for over 20 years now. Our paid technology we will show you today and intent-based methodology has given our clients a competitive advantage to win in search and also understand the importance of search insights to help them win in digital. So when Google took away our keywords with secure search, we knew when dealing with enterprise sites that had hundreds, thousands, even millions of keywords, we needed a technology that would bring back the keyword and let us see actual traffic and conversion data for both paid and organic search side by side. At this level, there's no time to create daily Excel sheets or have analysts work for hours just to seek insights. Now, millions of keywords can be viewed in seconds, and we can answer critical questions in minutes, like, do I really need to buy my brand words? What should be my priority SEO keywords? What are my best performing landing pages? I have some budget cuts. I need to save on paid search media spend. Where and what do I cut? Now, you have these answers at your fingertips, every paid and organic metric side by side in one platform. We're going to show you how the experience of the power of two, seeing SEO and paid search together, gives you a new level of customer intelligence and insights to help you win in search. So getting into this, we have to talk about the breakup. It was slow and painful. But soon enough, it was over, and it certainly became newsworthy. SEO was hurt from secure search. It withdrew into the darkness. PPC stayed bold and proudly on display, and even had a good run at the single life for a few years. Time passed, SEO got tired of wallowing in despair, checking rank over and over, left it feeling empty and lonely. So now, consider a tool like Keyword Objects to supply the special sauce organic search so desperately needed. Notice the number of keywords that are tracked within the suite. A very special formula brings back traffic and conversion data at the keyword level once again. So gone again are the dark days of organic search, and back comes the mojo it needed to get back his love. So let's take a peek towards what fruits this relationship bears. In one kind of synergy view featured in Keyword Objects, the marriage of organic and paid search data becomes visible like never before. And what a beautiful set of data it is. Now, never before, the two lovebirds are together at the table. They're unified by the keyword. Like any healthy relationship, both parties bring something to that table. With metrics like these in tow, marketers like us can relish the love of this insightful union. But first, we need a method to the madness. Sorry, I lost my place. There we are. It starts with a unified keyword strategy. Let's call it PRO. Every partner has to pull their own weight, so it starts with promote, increasing visibility across one channel when another is not present. For example, prioritizing keywords to optimize in SEO when expensive in paid search, or buying priority keywords in paid search when organic is not present, is an example of the promote approach. Next, we move to reduce, when one channel is overcompensating for the other. In paid search, this means reducing the bid, but for organic, this can be deprioritizing a keyword or even ensuring that its rank is maintained. Lastly, perhaps some good old-fashioned elbow grease is in order. After all, relationships take work, and so it may be time to optimize, taking a deeper look at the customer experience across paid and organic and learning from each other's successes and failures. Let's take a look at where organic can help pull more weight by prioritizing optimization efforts. Keywords that are ranking high organically are obvious candidates. Even better are those that drive high revenue in paid search, as they have already proven themselves in the space. And starting with the most expensive keywords you are buying is icing on the cake. A $32 CPC is quite heartbreaking. Within the Synergy table view, many convenient filters await. Now, with just a few clicks, you can drill into what makes this relationship tick. Brand cannibalization, as sometimes paid search can get a little aggressive protecting the family brand. Within the brand cannibalization filter view, we get to be a fly on the wall into one of the household's biggest bills. Are expenditures as efficient as they could be, or is someone paying for too many gym memberships they don't need? Perhaps there are opportunities to avoid any unneeded paid search cannibalization of organic brand search. Let's check the paid clicks. And now, let's check the revenue associated to these. Looking into high converting organic keywords with little to no paid search impressions, notice the visits driven by organic search. And now, notice the revenue number that organic is driving. It seems there's no paid search activity. Maybe we could squeeze the sponge a bit and double down with paid's help. So let's promote and bid on these words, or as they say, buy the house next door. Now that's some serious SERP real estate to take advantage of. Now, while we're getting the house in order, in any happy household, there are renovations abound. Perhaps there are some do-it-yourself tasks to take hold of. Let's look under the carpet at keywords where paid converts at a much higher rate than their partner. So let's peek the conversion rates across paid and organic side by side. And it's no surprise here, someone's been working overtime. So let's optimize the SEO entry page by taking learnings from our stronger performing paid pages and ultimately test, and test. And you can see that the revenue is much higher from an organic perspective. There's no paid search activity, and we would look to optimize the organic landing pages. So how does all this technology work? I'll pass it off to Jonah for a technical explanation, if you will.
All right. Thanks, Ryan. So how does the happy couple of paid search and organic search make it work? When I was young, my grandfather told me the rules. First rule is your partner is always right. And the second rule is if your partner is wrong, refer to rule number 1. And the most important rule comes from keyword objects, which is just flip the switch. The love potion is in the patented algorithm that recovers SEO keywords. And the algorithm works like this. It takes everything we know and uses that information to solve for the parts that we don't know. So let's say that we didn't know much about Valentine's Day. From observations about which customers enter which stores on which days, how long they spend inside, and their purchase activities, we may see reliable patterns. Customers, disproportionately men, would be entering flower shops, chocolatiers, card shops, and the like. And this activity spikes around mid-February each year. So from those observations, we can infer when Valentine's Day is and what motivates those customers. So it's like a real-world example. Now take that and apply that to a website in the era of secure search. We know where the users come from. We know when they entered the site. We know where they entered. We know what they did. And we know in what quantities they did it. And we use that data and more to make inferences by building hundreds of millions of profiles, each of which is explained by a small group of keywords. So in aggregate, we don't care if the chocolate searches were conducted by Alex, Bob, and Charlie, ABC, or if they were conducted by Dave, Ethan, and Fred. That's what the NSA cares about and is the user privacy that Google is protecting with secure search. Which specific individuals made a search is less important to marketers. We first need to know and solve for how many. So 3 in this case. KPA is able to leverage the data we have to solve the aggregate questions we care about while ignoring the specificity we don't care about. And it does this on a micro scale, millions of times each day.
That's great, Jonah. So this is all made possible through keyword objects with a powerful integration to Conductor. You see, Synergy Insights are right in front of you. SEO opportunities to optimize the SEO page are easily brought to light through cards found within the Insight stream and direct integration into your own paid search data. So we can easily prioritize SEO keywords based on their estimated market value derived from your paid activity. And we can find high-value keywords that you should focus on in SEO. So to summarize, let's talk about what you didn't learn today. How easy is it to integrate your data and get this going? We just completed a project that brought back over 10 million keywords. But seriously, the story we just told, sorry if it's too cute, it's just how we think. We believe that SEO and PPC belong together. There's a reason that 1 is the loneliest number. 2 is better than 1. It's not just better. It's not just 1 plus 1. There is a synergy. They work together to create incremental value. This is not doing things together. This is about the 2 channels being inseparable. SEO and PPC are not 2 different disciplines. Keywords are the same. Customers are the same. And the customer journeys they impact are the same as well. Handled by different departments or not, the power that one could unleash when combining the efforts creates this incremental value. In fact, Forrester quoted that with the implementation of keyword objects, clients have seen an average 600% improvement in their search efforts. Conductor and Acronym partnership works primarily because we are combining the power of insights to put your customers first. We are working together, creating value and a competitive edge to win in search. And for us, that's a long-lasting relationship. So I'll pass it back to Kat for closing.
Great. Thanks, Ryan. Really appreciate it. Yeah, so we're so excited to have this partnership with Acronym. Conductor is the only company that has an integration with keyword objects. So these insights that you would see across that technology, including the paid and organic synergy views, will be available within the insight stream and then have deeper access through our integration into that platform. So we're really excited to be the company that can offer this to our customer base across the globe. Acronym, Keyword Objects, and of course Conductor will be at C3 on March 7th and 8th in New York City. There's going to be more content around paid and natural synergy at the event across those 2 days. We encourage you to come and see the technology in action and learn more about our integration. And also there is a special code at the bottom of the screen there. You can use code C318-KO200 to knock $200 off the cost of admission for the event. It's going to be great. We hope you can see you there. There were a few questions that popped up during the presentation here. If you do have additional questions for those on the line, there is the Q&A button on the bottom of the screen. Please feel free to share any questions you have in there as we go through a few of them. One question we got for the Acronym team here, what volume of visitors and site traffic is required monthly in order to deduce the keywords?
That's a great question. About KPA, there's not a hard number. I would say generally speaking, if you've got 100,000 organic visits a month, that's a pretty good number. But there's a lot more that goes into building those profiles. So if you have stable URLs, that makes KPA work much better. If you've got vanishing URLs, something like eBay, that's much more challenging to build those profiles around. In cases where KPA can't solve for what keyword is referring traffic, it won't. That activity still passes through into the platform, and KPA will just say, this is still unknown. Typically, we recover over 97% of keywords. So I think that's like a decent amount of that 100,000 number. That's a pretty decent amount, but certainly more is better.
Got it. Great. Great. Cool. Another question too. So there were some technical difficulties during the pro section of the webinar. So I think we lost some of the insights there. Ryan, would you be able to go back and recover the pro section for the attendees here? I want to make sure that everyone on the call today gets a little bit more information about the strategies that this data can actually offer.
You got it. So I'm trying to push the audience. So this is the Unified Keyword Strategy section. We've dubbed the strategy here as an acronym for PRO. So ultimately, let me see here, we're going to look for scenarios where we would promote or increase spend on the paid search side. We'll look for areas where we could reduce spend on the paid search side, and then areas where we can optimize both on the paid or organic side as well. I'm going to get into the next slide here. An example of the promote, SEO keywords that rank below position 3. What you would be wanting to look for in here is areas where your organic visibility is not driving clicks. So typically the majority of the clicks occur in the click-heavy positions in 1, 2, and 3. So a good filter, and you can rely on the custom filters within the tool, or you can manually input them. You're going to want to look for keywords that have lower visibility on page 1. From there, we want to also look at paid search keywords that drive very high revenues with strong conversion rates. And then also, lastly, we want to look for very expensive paid search keywords. So we have a lot of expensive paid search keywords here. We have keywords that drive a lot of revenue from a paid perspective, and then we have visibility that is subpar from an organic perspective. So this would be an example of promoting or increasing organic visibility on those keywords that have subpar visibility in SERP today. The idea is that your organic coverage and your improvements in organic visibility would stem the need for these very expensive keywords that we already know convert very well from a paid perspective. The idea is to get that for free from an organic perspective. Take learnings from how well the paid search landing page actually converts and try to transcend them into the organic example of that. I would say another one of the action elements for Promote is to buy high-performing keywords. So the other way to look at it outside of just improving organic visibility is to double down on these keywords that we know convert extremely well and drive a lot of revenue. The downside of that is that there's a price to play. So whatever you could stem from an organic perspective is a truly integrated approach during this scenario. Another scenario is the reduce scenario. So there's elements of brand cannibalization that are very common within this scenario, and you can kind of see that here, where the PPC media cost for branded search is huge. The idea being, could you save in buying those brand terms if organic held top visibility? So we can see here that organic has the top ranking, and then it also has a higher conversion rate than that of PPC. So that's really good ammunition to say, do I tone down the brand spend and hope that it's captured by organic? Going into that decision, having ammunition like, well, the organic booking rate is higher than that of the paid search booking rate, always makes that conversation a little bit easier and helps you reach that conclusion of, maybe I don't have to double down so much on my brand spend because I have great organic coverage to capture it. And I think another example here is Promote. Strong performing SEO keywords with no paid search clicks. So what we want to do is go into the tool and we want to be able to highlight where are our strongest SEO performing keywords. From there, we want to compare the booking rate and the revenue associated to that traffic. That's the huge advantage here of having traffic and conversion data built at the keyword level. So in the past, we wouldn't be able to do this assessment from an organic perspective. And then we can see that if we compare SEO and paid search conversion rates, that helps us improve the overall customer experience. There's a reason that paid search is converting at a higher level than its organic counterpart. We can take learnings from that landing page to be able to deduce the type of optimizations needed to bring the organic page to levels of conversion that we see on the paid search side. And then additionally to Promote, there are strong performing SEO keywords that don't have any paid search clicks. And again, this is an example of doubling down. And I could see why there was technical difficulties because there's duplication of a lot of these slides. So apologies for that. So
thanks. That was really helpful to dive into some of those different synergies and ways to look at the data and keyword objects. A few more questions here. Is there any threshold for search volume for this tool to work? In the healthcare industry, search volume is not huge, so I wonder how useful this tool would be for our industry.
That's a great question. I would say that the data set within the Synergy View really starts to sing when traffic is abundant, right? Because then you're going to get very healthy conversion metrics associated to the keywords. If the volume is very low, from a paid search perspective, then maybe that's not an ideal target from a paid perspective. If that's the case, then it dries up a large amount of that data set that actually shows within the tool. However, it's not dependent on paid search activity to be able to derive the insight. If the keyword was seen to have driven a visit to the site, independent of its volume, that data set is being captured within the suite. So you can make inferences from that data set independent of those keywords garnering a tremendous amount of volume in their own right. Does that help answer the question, Joe? Maybe you had an insight? Yeah.
Yeah, we can treat low volume sites differently as well by increasing the window that Synergy considers. So if you've got really low traffic, we can just have a further look back period to gather enough data for the insights that we need. But generally speaking, I mean, I don't know what your organic traffic is per month, but it doesn't need that much to be useful. It's more about stability in terms of your pages and stability in terms of trends. Certainly more data is better, but we can make adjustments to collect more data from a fixed amount of incoming visits.
Excellent, thank you. A few more questions here. Can you speak to the process of building the profiles? What collaboration or input is required from the client before the system can begin to try to ID those keywords?
Great question. Okay, so the richest source of data that we have comes from your web analytics software. If you don't have web analytics installed on your site, you should change that. Get Google Analytics, it's free. If you've got GA or Adobe, we do what's called true integration. Rather than grab single-dimensional extracts from your web analytics, it's a deep integration that comes from web analytics, and that's our primary data source. So we need access to that. And we go back in time and we collect a lot of history. If you don't have web analytics, that's kind of a deal breaker, but pretty much everybody has it, and that's the main ingredient.
Great. All right. What kind of conversion metrics can the algorithm solve for? Can you track engagement metrics like video views or downloads at a keyword level?
Yeah, whatever is being tracked by your web analytics, we can track as well. So if you've got something that's like off-site, you want to track video plays on YouTube, well, if you don't have web analytics to YouTube, we can't keep track of that. But anything that is on your site should be trackable within web analytics, and we can integrate. And I should add, KPA not only solves for the keywords, but it solves for the conversion rates of each keyword. So it's not like you're just like looking at Search Console and seeing top referring keywords. Each of those keywords is going to behave differently. Or certainly, they're not all going to behave uniformly, right? Some are going to be similar, but you're going to have lots of variations in your keyword set in terms of conversion rates and across different kinds of conversions. And KPA uses data from your web analytics to solve for that distinctly for each keyword.
Awesome, thank you. Question from some paid folks here. Can the paid search team have access to the platform as well?
Yes, absolutely. We love that. A lot of the insights are directed towards the organic side. Plenty are directed specifically to the paid side. And we really think you should be looking at search holistically. And so, yeah, definitely. We also have access controls so that if you've got different budgets that if you're on a large team and certain members aren't allowed to see activity outside of their purview, there are access controls that can restrict visibility on the paid side and the organic side, around division, business unit, budgets, whatever the case may be.
Excellent. What data sources does the technology need access to, and is the data pulled daily That's a great question. How frequently is the data pulled in keyword objects?
It is pulled daily. We configure all of that. There's generally nothing that the customer needs to do other than provide access and work with us on what is important to track. If there's any questions around understanding events in your web analytics, that sort of thing. But data is pulled daily, and for a paid integration, we request access to a bid management tool, something like Marin, AMO, Kensho, et cetera, and on the organic side, from web analytics.
Excellent, great. And when that data is refreshed in keyword objects, we are working on a scalable and automatic publishing of those insight cards. So for those of you on the line who are Conductor customers today and getting used to your insight stream and insight cards, there will be even more data and more publishes throughout the week, which we're all very excited about here. Great. How is KPA different or similar to services offered by Ahrefs or Kissmetrics?
I think to answer that, I need more familiarity with those services. I'm sorry. I can tell you about KPA up, down, left, and right, but I don't know the inner workings of those services.
Okay. If that user has more information about what some of the similarities are with Ahrefs or Kissmetrics, definitely shoot us a note and we can follow up with more information. Great. How about, let's talk a little bit about seasonality. This is an interesting question. Does the system allow for any seasonal trends in the keywords used?
As far as solving, well, certainly you've got many views that you can have year-over-year comparisons. We have some customers who rather than compare year-over-year, they're looking for promotion over promotion, and that those promotions may not stack up by calendar month or date, certainly. As far as KPA goes, KPA works totally fine with seasonality. If the volume of activity increases or decreases, or the kinds of keywords that your customers are using changes over time, that totally works within the algorithm. Again, the kinds of things that are tricky for KPA are like vanishing pages, stuff that you generally don't see too much. But I mean, there are ways that it can be tricked or confused or be made, source data can be difficult, but seasonality is not it, and certainly changing user behavior is not it either.
Great. And then actually, I think this question ties back to one of the elements of the pro approach here. The question is, can you figure out which paid search keywords are most expensive and not ranking organically, which is definitely one of the core use cases of keyword objects, right? One of the insights that you're going to want to get to that data, get from that data to also build an organic strategy around that keyword. Guys, do you have anything else to add to that specific question about when there's expensive search keywords but nothing organically is ranking?
Yeah, I mean, ideally, you would love to have an organic example. If it's a very expensive paid search keyword and that's a business priority and you have to have visibility on it, it tends to relate to having an organic example rank there as well. So most times it's not one or the other. A lot of times there'll be an emerging topic area or a product that doesn't have collateral just yet to support it from kind of like a static organic perspective. So what you would do in lieu of having that organic visibility is double down on paid. And that could get you into a scenario of very expensive keywords. You really only have a paid search type of landing page as collateral to kind of capitalize on that. In that instance, organic needs, a fire lit under them, and they need to come to the table with collateral that can support paid media spend at that level, giving you a scenario where you can look at the data set and say, okay, I can tone down the paid spend a little bit because I have an organic asset that is building trajectory and moving up in terms of visibility. A lot of times you can take learnings directly from that paid search activity and build an organic example based on those learnings, based on the behavioral data that you get from users hitting that paid landing page. So a lot of learnings can be taken from that to build you an organic example to go into battle with. I hope that answered the question.
Yeah, that was great. That was insightful. Excellent. Cool. So I think that is all the questions we have. So last calls if you have any additional questions. Yeah, of course. Sorry about that.
I just got pinged by a team member about Ahrefs and Kissmetrics. And my understanding is that they aggregate at a high level, but they don't have offerings that are at a keyword level that are algorithmically derived like KPA. So I don't think there's a great amount of feature overlap between those systems.
Got it. All right, great. Hi, Jonah.
Sure.
Great. So that's all the questions we had. The last question is this tool data offered through a conductor system, or is it an Acronym property? Certainly Acronym developed and created and continues to iterate on the technology, and it is something that is offered through Conductor, so you can get the keyword objects integration through us. If you do have any other questions, please reach out to the team here. If you are a Conductor customer, reach out to your strategic account director or your customer success manager to get more information about the keyword objects integration. Really a big thank you to Ryan and Jonah for spending the time with us today to get us up to speed on how their technology can solve for this once black box to create some real synergies here. And thanks to everyone who took time out of their workday to join us. And I hope you learned something new about what this technology offers, a few strategies and ways to think about paid and natural data together. And again, if you need anything, the entire Conductor team is here to support you. So thanks again, and happy Valentine's Day.